speak. Well, if you want to hear them, you have to. Okay. Okay, you unmuted me, so I guess you wanted to.
You guys don't. Hey y'all, Ibis and Ruth. I'm gonna keep you muted. Ibis and Ruth, I see you fine. I muted you because I could hear you talking, but can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. So we just haven't begun yet. That's why you don't hear anything. So we'll be starting in about 8 minutes. So just stay tuned.
Hey, hon.
Hello, everyone. Just to let you know, if you should be able to hear me now, but we're not going to be starting for another 6 minutes or so. Karen, can you hear me? I see you on the line now. Karen Mick, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Katie, can you look at my computer and see if anyone can, because I can't see everyone here. Can folks give me a thumbs up if they can hear me? Okay. All right, we'll be starting in 5 or so minutes. Thank you.
I don't think so, not unless you want to. So it's being set up. It's being set up, but there's nobody there yet. It is recording.
Hi, everyone. I just want to let you know that we'll be starting in a few minutes, so you won't be hearing anything right now because I have it muted in here in Kendall Hall. But can you all give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Again, y'all, if you can keep your screens muted, but you can hear me. Okay, I'm going to mute again, and then in a few minutes, Diane will be up to begin. Thank you.
What do they call him?
Hello all, we're about to begin. So if you have any issues listening in or your video cuts out, I would just recommend starting over again. You can also put some questions in the chat function. I'll be monitoring that. We're not going to be taking questions from all of you, but we have a lot of speakers today, so people can follow up with you afterwards if you have more. Again, I ask if you can keep your Zoom profiles on mute, and we'll begin. And just a reminder that this presentation is being recorded.
Good morning. It's really good to know that all of you are there and watching this as we're in Kendall Hall. We're some other people here in Kendall Hall, but okay, I can hear some people. Okay. Okay, are we set now? Okay. I wish that all of you were here in Kendall Hall, but we're going to have a regular meeting here with the different kinds of reports that we would have if we were all gathered here together in Kendall Hall. So as we always do, we're going to first begin with a moment of quiet. Thank you. And first of all, as we always do, we're going to hear from our CEO, Jan Bigelow, who will give an update on many aspects here on the campus. And we're going to follow that quite in sequence, that Jessica's going to give a marketing update. Felicia's here and give an update on finance. Herbie is here and he's going to give an update. And Karen Jackson is here and she's going to give an update. So we'll just step up to the microphone camera when it's our turn to talk. And then I will come on later and Paul Cormier is here too.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Hello, good morning, everyone. What a beautiful day again in Virginia. So much better than Florida. I just have to continue to say that. This weather has just been absolutely gorgeous here, so we do appreciate that. Our COVID testing was a success, and we had all negative results except for one independent living resident. They were retested upon receiving the results, and the second test was negative. The unfortunate piece of the testing for us was the amount of time that it took to get the results back. We are obviously doing most things right, that we were able to test 400 people and had such good results. Please keep in mind that we will continue to enforce the wearing of masks, social distancing of 6 to 10 feet, or I should say physical distancing, the use of proper infection control practices, such as washing hands and the use of sanitizers, and limiting your trips off the campus. Our continued success in keeping the COVID virus off the campus really depends on all of us adhering to those basic rules. Step 2 was distributed to all of you with a couple of changes, and it actually began yesterday, July 15th. Those steps include increasing the number of people permitted to gather to 20. The fitness indoor group exercise can resume, allowing up to 6 people in a class. And the pool will reopen on Monday, July 20th, with a limit of 2 to 4 people, depending on the activity. Banking services have returned to Calyx with the Cornerstone Bank. Cottage patio or deck visits will be allowed between residents with a limit of 4 people at a time. At various and people at a time, and in addition, conversation pods, I'm sure you've seen some of them, I hope you have been created inside of Anderson and outside at various locations for informal conversations. We have also added pickup and drop-off of groceries and other items. Cottage residents may receive these items directly at your door, and apartment residents may receive items at the front door of Anderson. If a resident chooses to be picked up or dropped off, the same procedure will apply. We do continue to ask that no one enters anyone's residence during any of the pickup or drop-off. We also ask that you notify Karen Jackson or Sybil Adams if you know someone will be coming to pick up or drop off, so we can notify the screening station to allow them access. As you know, the cases continue to rise with the COVID due to poor infection control practices, lack of physical distancing, and people not wearing masks. We need to remain diligent in all of these areas in order to keep us all safe and healthy. Please remember that your decisions affect many other people. And we ask that you be thoughtful of others as we continue to fight to keep this COVID virus off of our campus. Construction update for the Borden Health Center. Work is continuing to progress. The therapy addition will actually be completed over the next few weeks, but unfortunately it will not be accessible due to other construction that needs to happen. The therapy equipment is due to arrive in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Final inspections will be done by the fire marshal when we are able to schedule those to use those spaces. And the timeline for completion, and I hate to put a date out there, but I'm going to say very late fall for use of the therapy space and some of those additional spaces in Borden. For Anderson, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see, but the courtyard garden is done and looks lovely. And we are watering with diligence. We know that we cannot afford to lose any of those plants. So we are doing, Herbie and his group are really trying to be diligent about that. The gazebo and trellis for the Anderson top deck is scheduled to be delivered this week, but I have learned never to hold my breath on that. I'll believe it when I see it, but we are being told that it should be arriving. The library doors have been installed, but the automatic openers are waiting to be installed. Large punch list still remains for the Anderson area to be completed, but trust me, we are pushing very hard to get some of those things done in a very short period of time. We just need to continue to push and hold them accountable. Sunrise Ridge, work continues on the pond conversions on the ridge. Key cylinder replacements are being installed over the next few days. We are working with Nielsen on a schedule to do the garage floor cleanings and ceilings. And we're still working on final details with Spectrum and DEQ on the soil amendments. I do want to say that it has been so nice to see the committees meeting in person. I have tried to get to many of those meetings, and I have had the opportunity to meet many members of those committees. I really am, I've really appreciated that opportunity. I really look forward to continuing to meet more of you. It's been very quiet here in Anderson. Normally, I know that people are coming and going, so that's been tough. But continue to meet as groups. We do encourage the socialization for staff as well. We miss seeing all of you, and I know that I still have a lot of people to meet. So hopefully, over the next few weeks before winter hits, I will hope that we can definitely have an opportunity to meet. So that is my update for right now. I did want to introduce you to Casey Keefe, who is our new nursing home administrator. He is not able to be here right now, so if he does come before the end of the meeting, we will have him pop up here and introduce himself to all of you. Thank you so very much.
Can I just make sure I'm in the screen and then come up? I can see myself too. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. At my last look, we had 69 computers tuning in now. So we think that's probably over 100 residents listening in. So I really appreciate it. As you know, marketing has been functioning in this digital world now. We have recently been able to have some limited tours on the campus to open cottages where our prospects stay in their own car, meet us at a cottage, and then are able to tour that cottage with a mask on, staying away from marketing staff. So that has been good, because we had a person who said, I love everything I see on your website, but nowadays, what if I get there and it's just a shack? So he wanted to drive through, make sure we were real, and then allowed us to cash his waitlist check. So it is important to get folks on campus. So we're doing that in a small way. What's amazing is we now have 4 reservations. We had someone move in this last month, and we currently have 4 reservations. 3 of the 4 of those reservations were done entirely digitally. Those folks have not been on this campus. It's all by video, by email, and by phone, and by Zoom. So it's just amazing. And you all are very, very lucky to have Katie and Kevin working here now. They're absolutely amazing, and I can't believe what they're getting accomplished. On the occupancy front, we have 10 open or soon to be open residences. As I mentioned, 4 of those currently have reservations. So there are 6 cottages and apartments that are open. In the upcoming resident newsletter, I list those out, but there's a couple on Sycamore Lane, a cluster cottage, and some apartments, and then some on Sunrise Ridge. So really all over the campus. So if you have friends out there that have been maybe dragging their feet a little bit and coming here for the first time in many, many years, we actually have the opportunity for folks to move in as soon as we can get their cottage or apartment ready. So that's been our message about this rare opportunity for folks. And so it's great, but we're seeing things pick up, and a lot of folks are getting more interested and more committed. I'll just let Katie just come up for one moment.
Thank you, Jessica. I just wanted to say Jim Service did move into Cox Apartment 318. Today, his quarantine time is officially over. I want to thank you all for your patience and understanding with that, and also your unique ways that you've welcomed him already to our community. We have one new resident today. His dog, Rusty, has now gotten to join him here in his apartment as well. So when you see him out and about, please make sure you say hello. And I will turn it over to Kevin.
Good morning. Wanted to let you know we've been doing some resident speaker panels and inviting prospects as well as waiting list members to join in on those, and they've been very successful. The next one is scheduled for July 30th at 11 a.m. Jessica will be in touch with those who she might like to have join the resident speaker panel for that meeting. I got my first reservation last week. Very excited that a couple whose names cannot be revealed until they've passed their medical and financial tests, but we're planning to move in September 30th to 324 Sunrise Ridge Circle. So yay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to give you a little update on some various financial things. Okay, I think Jessica's going to adjust the screen a little bit. I'm shorter. So there's been lots of things in the news about these PPP loans, and Kendall at Lexington applied for and received a Small Business Administration Paycheck Protection Program loan, PPP loan. We received this through Cornerstone Bank. It was a little over $1.3 million. And the loan that we received, as with everyone, there's some strict guidelines of what it can be used for. And specifically, it's wages, health insurance benefits for employees, interest on mortgage obligations, and utility payments. Kendall at Lexington, that loan has the potential to be either partially or fully forgiven if the recipient meets certain criteria. Because Kendall at Lexington didn't furlough or lay off employees or reduce wages, we expect that loan to be at least partially forgiven. So I will be working on that in the next few months of submitting the documentation for that. Where we are financially with the construction project. As of today, we're within the $40 million budget we had. We've spent about 86% of those funds. We do have a few outstanding items. So besides paying the final payments to the contractor, we do have some furniture and decor that we're still going to purchase. We do have a change order out there for the soil, the impacted soil through the DEQ. And there's some other change orders I'm sure that will come through that I haven't seen yet. It's kind of too early to tell if we'll be over, under budget. I can pretty much assure you that if we're over budget, it will not be substantial. The last thing, financial statements. We're not quite done with the June statements. The May are completed. As of year to date, financials through May of this year, we had an operating gain of about $54,000. Revenue was down for independent living by about slightly over 1.3%, about $46,000. More significantly in health services, Webster and Borden, that was down about a little over 10%. The good news is all 60 beds in the Borden Center are available to be occupied. Currently, I think we have 51 or 52 as of today. We're always looking at admissions. The Webster Center, we've got 12 residents here. We typically have 20 beds available. 5 of those are under renovation. So there's a little bit of room to take some admissions also in the Webster Center. We do our expenses. They were below budget year to date, but we've had quite a few additional expenses related to the pandemic, including additional PPE for like setting up the isolation rooms, to having the 24-hour checkpoint and those type of things. And then the hero pay that you were all told about, which we had implemented from April through June, and that was about $160,000. So additional expenses, but still, like I said, within budget through May. I know everybody has seen what the market's done. You've probably seen your portfolio. The first quarter, we were down quite a bit, and even through May, the portfolio was down about a little over $300,000. That was much improved where we were for the first quarter, of a loss of about 1.8. So I feel comfortable with that. And if you remember, in 2019, our unrealized gain was a little over $2 million. So we're doing well there. The next few months, by the end of the year, we might not be as positive as we were in the last couple of years, a little uncertain with all this COVID and with occupancy too. So that being said, I will keep folks updated on anything. And as Jessica said, as much as you can, bring your friends here, because that really helps us to fill up occupancy in IL. Thanks much.
Right. Hello, everybody. Sorry we can't meet in person, but hi. Would like to just pass on a little bit, maintenance, transportation, housekeeping, grounds, everything. We know we're running a little behind on some things, but I would like to just take the moment and thank everybody for the whole COVID thing come in, kind of set a standard there for a while of refocusing and repurposing staff, kind of focus on what needed to be taken care of then. We made some major adjustments, and I think by doing so, that's kind of helped keep us where we are of all the good negative testing that we've had and results, and keeping everybody safe. With repurposing everybody, though, it has put a little struggle and delay on getting work orders and some housekeeping things done. So we continue to work on light housekeeping. Our work order demands are up. I do still encourage everybody to please put in work orders. We only know they're out there if we have them documented, and we can keep making adjustments to get those addressed the best we can, and based off the emergency need of that particular work order. So please continue to get those in there. That's really all I got. It's just keep that up for us, and we really appreciate everybody's efforts and being patient with the staff that's getting to you.
Good morning. Let me get the mask down and the glasses on so I can see a little bit. I'm really just wanted to give you a couple little updates in terms of what's going on. I know a lot of folks are curious about where our technology work is headed. I'm excited to say that Josh and Greg have completed Sunrise Ridge in terms of getting them on the resident network and fixing some of the problems that were occurring on that part of the campus. Our next goal is to hit Sycamore very hard in terms of moving household to household and continuing to fix problems that we've identified, and continue to work on getting folks fully aligned on the resident network, which has been a goal for a couple of years now, but we're really have made it a priority. We have also continued our work in the wireless area in terms of connectivity. We're making a number of improvements in the Borden and Webster Center. That was our priority because of the regulations that we have to follow and because of the impact on nurses trying to give medications or provide other types of care. But we're moving along at a steady pace, and we anticipate once that's completed that we'll be able to move into other parts of the campus, including independent living, to look at access points and look at some other ways we can increase that wireless. So that's great news on both those fronts. The third thing I wanted to mention is as a part of step 2, we're going to be loosening up just a little, the ability for you to use outside resources for technology. So for example, if you wanted to place a call to Sharon Gerard or to Joan Weitzel or some other provider in the community, we will be encouraging you to do that. There will still be limitations. They'll still need to come through the screening station. And I still need to know that they're here on campus. But as long as you are letting me know, as long as we aren't having too many people visited in the same day, we can kind of manage that infection control stuff. Then we're going to be happy to let you have some consult with folks that you've typically used in the past. So that's really exciting news in terms of the IT front. As a part of the step 2 information that was sent out, and Jan talked a little bit about pick up and drop off, just briefly want to remind you, please let me know. I am not always in the office, but there's always a notepad. You can leave me a note. You can send me an email. You can drop me a call. And of course, as soon as I have the time to answer those calls or to follow up, I will do so. I know that you've received, I know that I've received multiple calls in the past about, well, if I go here or if I go there, what do I need to do when I come back on campus? So I wanted to briefly just clarify that for everyone. If you are leaving campus, and again, we prefer that you don't, but if you do, and you're just going within the county of Rockbridge, let's say to Walmart, let's say to a doctor's appointment, the only thing different you need to do is to please stop at the screening station, have them take your temperature, and just to kind of get checked as you're coming back onto campus, okay? So in the county of Rockbridge, you really don't do anything different except stop and have Robert or Will or whoever's at the screening station take your temperature and just kind of check you back in. If you're going elsewhere in Virginia, you will be mandated to stop at that screening station as well, okay? So if you're heading over to Augusta, or if you're heading to Roanoke, or you're heading to some other place around and about, again, we'll want you to stop at that screening station. Because most of the time you're gone for a couple of hours and then you're back. The real catch is if you leave campus for an overnight stay, whether that's with you know, a daughter or a son, a close friend, you're going to visit relatives or other folks, or if you leave the state of Virginia and take a trip to North Carolina or take a trip to New York, the expectation when you get back to campus after an overnight stay or out of state adventure is that you will self-quarantine for 14 days, okay? We know that's a challenge for folks and it's hard on everyone, but that is, again, for the continued safety of every resident and every employee who works here. So we hope you will abide by that and continue to reach out and let me know when you have travel plans or you're going to be leaving campus. I know that you've received some information about Kathy's retirement. Kathy and I always refer to each other as our partner in crime. I will definitely miss my partner. I cannot fill her shoes because I am not a nurse. I can hand out Band-Aids, which is a great thing. But I'm gonna, over the next couple of days, work closely with Casey, our administrator, and we're gonna figure out and create some plans about how we're gonna move forward. But I've been asked to kind of be the catch-all for now. And many of you have already reached out and asked about shots or blood pressures or other kinds of things. I will continue to collect that information and I will do my best to get you answers, and stay tuned. We'll get some more information out to you. And certainly for those who are wishing Kathy well, I will at some point pass on your well wishes to her. So if you have other questions, please reach out. But thanks for giving me a few moments this morning. Y'all have a great day.
We have an amazing staff, and we so much appreciate all that all of you do to keep all of us safe. We really do need to work as a community together, residents and staff. And I commend everyone for the wonderful results we had on the COVID testing. That's really pretty remarkable, but we all have to do it together, keeping staff safe, keeping ourselves safe and not exposing ourselves in different situations, keeping our trips out to a minimum and following the different guidelines that we need to. I want to talk some about the planning committee that we have. On the planning committee are 4 residents, and depending upon the topics that we're going to be talking about on any at any meeting, we have 4 to 6 of the people on the central leadership team, our directors in the different areas. So we gather, we're meeting every 2 weeks, and we're looking at and assessing what's going on here and looking at how we can live with COVID. When we first began all of this, it was pretty much crisis mode, and we all kind of had to adjust to it. And now that we have gotten the pattern of what we need to do, then we're looking at how we can do things safely. And we now have steps 1 and 2, and that certainly helps so that we can be gathering more as residents. We are all missing the social interaction that we had at meals and in having our classes and in the programs when we came here to Kendall Hall. We're missing that, but we are looking at ways we can do some of those activities. Paul Cormier later on is going to be talking about the conversation pods, which are a wonderful way that we can still have physical distancing, but social interaction. I'm really delighted that the committees are meeting again. Now that we can have 20 here in Kendall Hall, then we can go on with those. I want to talk about one of the longer conversations we had at the planning committee meeting, and that was about being able to dine downstairs in our new dining room. It's now 13 months since we have not eaten down there. We really, Judy and Jan, really worked hard to see about how we might go, but with the new information we have that aerosols in the air are really highly suspect for carrying the coronavirus, we really can't eat inside. And eating outside in the hot summertime, not too attractive. So we decided, after all the explorations that we had done and meeting also with Joe Scavira, the food committee, we were hitting the pause button. And we will keep on discussing this and seeing about ways that we might be able to pick up meals, to eat outside when the weather is better. We'll keep looking at options, but right now we're getting good meals at our homes, and we'll keep on doing it that same way. Another topic that we broached is it's hot. We're appreciative of having some fitness classes, but it's hot in the deck, and we appreciate having the tents on the deck, but it's still hot. So we're exploring the possibility, the staff is, about being able to have some of the fitness classes in here in Kendall Hall, safely having the social distancing that we need. We will continue to explore what things that we can do. And if you can think of different ideas too, please come to any one of us on the Residence Council or on the Planning Committee. On the Planning Committee are Doreen, Folsom Logan, and Paul Cormier and Ed Brown. And we really appreciate working together, because part of what is Kendall is residents and staff working together. And we appreciate how that takes effect here on our campus. The dog park, which is in back of Borden between 2 of the new fenced areas, is almost ready. And we think that that would really be a nice place for people to take their dogs, to let them run. But it's also good for our Borden residents to see something happening out there and to watch animals being animals and so on. We'll let you know when that is ready. There's a few things we need to do. We're looking at a little bit safer way for people to go outside of the Borden area to be able to go there. Another thing that we're urging is that when possible is a place for family members to see another family member in the Borden Center. We're exploring that, and that we have to follow all sorts of safety guidelines in order for that to be done, but we are discussing that. One of the things that has come up is dining points, and some of our statements aren't always real clear to us. I talked to Kelsey yesterday, and Kelsey said that if you let her know, she can give you a printout of what your point status is near the end of the month. You can leave a telephone call for her or email Kelsey Deacon, and she can give you a printout of where your status is. She also said that it would be helpful of when there is a couple that you each fill in a food order so they know where to take the count on the food order that you have, and that might help clarify it. Again, at the end of the month, if you exceed 600 points, then you've lost them. And then at the beginning of the month, you will have 900 points. If you have more questions, talk to Kelsey. Finances for the Residents Association, we looked at those at the Resident Association meeting, and because basically we aren't doing what the things are that we would usually do, we really have a very nice treasury right now. And usually at this time of year, we would start talking about having a fundraising effort for the Residents Association for the activities of our committees. And we decided this year we don't need to. We may be coming to you to talk about another alternative though. So we're still working on that. And the big news is we're looking forward to the 20th anniversary celebration. Tomorrow would mark 20 years since our first residents moved in here into Kendall, and we want to celebrate 20 years. So we're going to have a party, and I've been planning with Jessica how we might be able to do that. And our current plan, and we hope it will work, is to have an outdoor celebration on Tuesday the 28th, upstairs on the new deck and downstairs in the patio. We will have to be careful to keep that space between us, to wear masks, but we will have some bubbly, and we'll have some small cups of strawberries. And we'll have a few people give some comments at that. But this is a notable time, and we really do need to celebrate the fact that we've been here for 20 years, and we keep getting wonderful new residents here to be part of this Kendall community. So I think that's about all. I'm going to ask Paul to talk in more depth about the conversation pods and how that came about and what we're doing.
Good morning, everyone. Let me adjust my hearing aids. You all heard about the conversation pods, and you may say, well, where are they? Well, we have designated 9 conversation pods here in the Anderson building. And you might, well, where are they located? Well, we'll probably have to have a scavenger hunt and see how many people can find these 9 conversation pods. But all you have to do is look at this sign. We have signs posted in those 9 spots, and they're basically a gathering of 3, 4, or up to 6 chairs for people to sit around and visit. And so we want to encourage everyone to step out of their apartment and contact their friends or neighbors or people they haven't seen since the last time they ate down in the dining room, and come down here and sit down in one of the conversation pods and visit for a while. To catch up on what's going on in Kendall, spread a little gossip, necessary, whatever you want, but we encourage you to do that. Now, we also have surveyed the entire campus looking for conversational pods outside. Obviously, the weather's kind of difficult for people to want to sit out there, but the problem we have of establishing outside pods is we need chairs and more chairs and benches. And Diane and I are working with Herbie to see if we can purchase some additional chairs and benches so that we could create little conversation pods in areas on the campus. Obviously, the gazebo up at Sunrise Ridge is an ideal location. There's a bench now up on a knoll overlooking Kendall property is another location. In front of Sunnyside Ridge is another location. So these are spots we're looking for a flat area, shady area, and when we get the furniture in, we'll be able to set up these outdoor pods. So that's still in the works. But today, there are 9 spots here, 9 places where you can come and visit your friends, and there's no time limit. Just come down and just sit there and watch the world go by. It's better than just sitting inside your apartment watching us on Zoom. Thank you very much.
Paul is always entertaining. One of the things when Paul was talking about meeting with a friend, now that we can meet on porches, it would really, and you all want to meet each other, please just pick up the phone and ask someone to come over and sit on a porch or to sit on the back patio at Sunnyside so that you can chat and have a chance to get to know each other. I think that we all would love to get to know our newer residents, the older residents, and so on. But take the initiative to do it so we have community. Now, we have some time, and I'm going to ask if we can have some questions, if people want to have questions, that you can raise your hand or put a question into the chat room and you can ask Jan, or you can ask me. And we'll try to, or you can ask anyone who's here, and we'll see how it goes. Questions? Jessica is the monitor person, so she has all of you up on the screen, and she is the one that can tell us if someone has a question or if there's a written chat. Anyone? Oh, you're good, guys. One more time. Anyone here? Written chat room? No questions. All right. Then I'm going to say that this meeting is over. We will meet once again on Wednesday. I want to add that the reason this meeting was on Thursday instead of Wednesday, the third Wednesday, which is usually what we have this, Jan took her mom for a medical procedure yesterday, a long awaited appointment. And it's really important to have Jan here too. So we had it on Thursday instead of Wednesday. But next month we will meet again at 10 o'clock on Zoom, Wednesday the 19th at 10 o'clock. So goodbye and thank you. You're all terrific.